With no language or job skills, life is challenging for new refugees. But one group is determined to help.
The Refugee Arts Initiative is to empower refugee and immigrant women to be self-sufficient, one sewing machine at a time.
Help from another group is guiding young adults out of homelessness and toward new horizons. See what happens when cast-offs and creativity collide in this eye-catching exhibition of recycled art. These stories and more coming up next on CityStream. Hello, I'm Linda Byron. Welcome to CityStream from Pottery Northwest. A fixture in the arts community for 50 years, Pottery Northwest is the region's premier ceramic facility. Artists worldwide travel here to take part in its residency program. Its community classes, lecture series, and exhibitions are also a big draw. And this is Lynn Hobaika. She's an artist in residence here, a ceramic artist who's going to transform this lump of clay into a work of art. So what's your vision?
I'm going to be making this into a cup, and then I'll put a face on it.
Oh, how fun. And you've done this before?
Yes.
Okay, let's see how it goes.
So the first thing that I do, or that you want to do before you make the object, is you need to center it onto the wheel.
So I can already tell it takes a lot of skill. We'll check back later and see how it's going. A different group of artisans is creating treasures all their own despite some major challenges. These artists are refugees who speak little or no English and have virtually no job skills. What they do have is a willingness and desire to work hard and to take advantage of the opportunities in their new homeland. As Roberta Romero explains, all they need is a little help.
Life is a tapestry. Its threads connect us and protect us when change occurs.
I have been a clinical pharmacist for 22 years, but it's always something in my heart I feel is missing.
This fabric of life provides a framework that's transformative.
The Refugee Arts Initiative is to empower refugee and immigrant women to be self-sufficient, one sewing machine at a time. Imagine you grew up in refugee camp for 20 years, you never have formal education. There's not a whole lot of things living in a tech town like Seattle can offer you.
For Ming Ming Tung Edelman, the goal of her homegrown organization is to help refugee and immigrant women get on their feet once they've gained a foothold in the Northwest.
我来西雅图是15年。
Because the language difficulty, she worked a little bit manufacturing, but Sue, she spent most of her time raising 4 kids as a single mother.
那个时候他们一个一个的都很小，不知道怎么办，所以没办法。
And that's when we come in. We able to provide equipment, the training, and a market for the things she make. Rahel never made a single dime in America. Little education, language barrier, and high-cost childcare was not possible for her. So she finally made her first paycheck in our program.
Yeah, this job I like it. In future, that's big dream.
So there's that pride knowing that my work is being valued, you know, not only being exchanged with income, but it's being valued. I think that's very important to the people that we work with.
The Refugee Artisan Initiative currently works with women from Ethiopia, Bhutan, and China. They are spread around Seattle, Everett, and Tukwila. How does she communicate? With videos that show the women how to perform intricate sewing techniques.
Next side.
Show them to our artisans and say, this is a project coming to you and this is what you expect of. And then we'll do the home visit. We'll do it together. Imagine I have to do it 3 or 4 times from Everett, Chinatown, down to Tukwila. You know, I just spend my whole day training. And a lot of times you do training, they forget. So having a video tutorial has been very, very helpful.
Born in Taiwan, Ming Ming and her family moved to Saudi Arabia when she was 14. She came to the U.S. a few years later. That experience left Mingming with a deeper understanding of the challenges facing newcomers to our region.
Got to make new friends, learn new language. So I understand the struggle. You know, being in different environment, you have to adapt. So I really want to connect them. I feel seeing them succeed is almost a reflection of myself when I first come to America.
Mingming always had a creative side. After taking some fashion classes, she noticed an opportunity.
I noticed that there was a tremendous amount of waste in the fashion industry. So it was like a hot moment. Why not marry the two and create jobs?
A merging of the two led to large collaborations with some big names, like Luli Yang and Eileen Fisher.
There was just a natural crossover between our interest in providing materials. It's a very simple thing for us to do, but we've long been invested in community work, and particularly with women's empowerment, that it was a natural and easy yes.
They not only support us by donating their garment to us to repurpose, and they also have given us grant to buy equipment. This one will be a nice pot holder. It will be perfect. It already has the thickness.
Word of her handiwork is spreading. The Shahuli Museum of Glass, the Gates Foundation, the Wing Luke Museum, as well as the Eileen Fisher Renew Store have either carried artisan work or have commissioned exclusive small batch artisan creations.
Locally handmade small batch goods done by artisans is something a lot of people are having trouble finding. Here is your Seahawks scarf. Isn't that fun?
She even made a small batch of jewelry out of an item from Oprah Winfrey.
She had a garage sale selling her garment, and we purposed into necklaces, and who would not like to get an Oprah's hug?
Sometimes adversity sidetracks opportunity. Remember Sue, the Chinese woman we first met? Recently, she was diagnosed with cancer. Unable to communicate with the doctor or even explain how scared she feels, she turned to the only person she could count on for support.
Yeah, it's hard.
也没有办法。想起来，很担心自己的身体，很多东西就会担心了。但是能认识到你对我的帮忙很多，又是很开心的。能够认识到你们这么好的人。
And having just extra person say, look, you know, we're here to support you, and you can get through this. So if I can give a little of my time, be more than happy to.
While Mingming guides these women along a path to greater opportunity, her most important gift may be the comfort she provides as they seek a better life.
Not only we give them work, but I think more importantly, we give them the dignity and self-esteem that they deserve as a human being. So if nothing, at least this is something that they feel good about being able to provide for their family, that they have a skill that they can contribute in the fabric of American society.
Recently, Refugee Artisan Initiative entered a competition among social innovators called the SVP Fast Pitch. Now, Mingming and her group didn't win, but they did finish in the top 10. And she's looking for ways to expand her program to include more immigrant women. If you'd like to learn more about Refugee Artisan Initiative, check out their website, refugeesarts.org.
The only way that you're not getting out of homelessness here is if you're not trying.
Just ahead, one organization is helping young people transition out of homelessness with a hand up rather than a hand out. That's next on CityStream. Right now, 1,500 young people live on the streets of Seattle and King County. One local program is doing everything it can to get them into stable housing and ultimately find a job. Nicole Sanchez tells us more about New Horizons and introduces us to one notable person they're helping, a young man who's also giving back.
A lot of young people might not appreciate a job where you take out the trash or mop the floors. But that's not the case for 24-year-old Damazi McDowell. He takes pride in his work. Damazi grew up in the Seattle area and moved a lot.
I went to many high schools. I went to almost all of Seattle public schools, and I got expelled just because of fighting. Never really had problems with my grades though.
At his lowest point, Damazi ended up here, living on the streets, not where anyone wants to be.
I couldn't barely even sleep at times because I was outside before I even really knew where the shelters were. Guys, have a good morning.
But life is different now for Damazi. He's on a new path. He has a safe place to stay and an apprenticeship with the facilities department at New Horizons.
This is actually the first shelter I've been to that given me a job. They gave me more of a sense of shelter because they actually give you resources and more resources. The only way that you're not getting out of homelessness here is if you're not trying.
The nonprofit helps young people with a focus on those ages 18 to 24. They help with everything from meals, housing, hygiene, and jobs. They have an emergency shelter for up to 30 people. And they also offer 15 spots in what they call the Nest. It's where young people like Damazi can stay longer as they look for work. Through the years, New Horizons has helped literally thousands of young people. But there is truly something special about Damazi.
This place would not be the same without Damazi. He's involved in so many different facets of what we do. He's just a part of our community.
Damazi says he is grateful for the job training programs they offer at New Horizons. One of their most successful ones is called Street Bean. Dozens of young people participate in this program where they not only learn how to make coffee, they also learn skills that can easily transfer to other jobs.
We train in customer service, we train in barista skills, in kind of whatever it takes to be behind the counter in a customer service role.
The Street Bean program has grown so much, they now have 2 coffee shop locations and their own roastery. And they hope to grow the program even more.
Our goal would be to have maybe 8 or 10 coffee shops around the whole Seattle area that we're doing centralized training in a training facility, and we're able to do 60, 70, maybe 100 young people a year.
And while Damazi is not part of New Horizons' coffee program, he enjoys the product they serve. For young people like Damazi, having a job and somewhere safe to stay is critical to getting his life back on the right track. But he isn't just thinking about his future, he also wants to help others have a brighter future too. Damazi has been working with a Seattle nonprofit that helps to advocate for homeless and foster youth. It's called the Mockingbird Society. He's on one of their statewide boards called Youth Advocates Ending Homelessness. This group is made up of foster and homeless youth. By sharing their experiences, they hope to influence policy change, new legislation, and programs.
Everybody says I'm a leader and all that. I just try.
Those leadership skills recently got recognized in a big way. To his surprise, Damazi was recently honored as the Advocate of the Year by the Mockingbird Society. It's an honor that will open doors for him and allow him to share his story with some key policy leaders in hopes of effecting change to better support homeless and foster youth.
It's a very big thing. They said that I get a lot of say in certain things and how things work. I'm gonna tell them everything. I'm not holding nothing back.
Now that he's Advocate of the Year, Damazi will shadow State Representative Eric Pettigrew of Seattle. He'll also advocate on issues facing young people trying to get out of homelessness. If you'd like to learn more about New Horizons, just go to their website, nhmin.org. We'll be right back. CityStream returns from Pottery Northwest, and joining me now is Executive Director James Lobb.
Hi.
What a fascinating place.
Well, thank you.
Tell me a little bit give me the overview.
So we were founded in 1966. One of the big things we do here is teach classes. They're community classes and they're open to anybody. We also have a retail space and a gallery where we do exhibitions every month. And we have a resident artist program, and it's a professional track program for artists. They use this as their communal space for up to 2 years.
So clearly that contributes to your national reputation.
National and international. We have artists from all over the country, as well as currently we have artists from Taiwan, from Hong Kong, and from Russia.
And these are resident artists who are highly skilled. Do they actually sell their work here?
Yeah, in fact, they'll have work for sale at our annual holiday sale that's coming up December 7th through the 21st. And it's a great place to do some holiday shopping.
It sure would be. So say you're interested in pottery, you wanted to give it a shot, never done it before, what would you recommend?
I'd recommend taking one of our beginner classes with us. They are 10-week classes. They meet once a week for 3 hours.
Okay.
And they're open to all ability levels.
So you can teach anybody?
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to give that a try because I've never done it.
Okay.
I got my apron. Show me how to do it.
Let's give it a shot. Here you go.
Okay.
Here's your clay. So you're going to take that and slam that down on the wheel head. There you go. And just try and get that into the middle before you begin.
Okay.
You can use that pedal to spin the wheel. So once you got that stuck on the wheel head, get it going as fast as it'll go. Get a little water on there.
Okay.
And you're going to brace your elbows and lean into it. Push that clay into the middle.
All right.
As well as down a little bit.
Down
just to
a little? Okay.
keep it from spiraling all the way up.
All right. More water?
Yeah, just enough water to let it slide through your hands.
Okay.
Lean in.
All
Push
right.
it, and we're trying to get rid of any wobbles that you might have.
All right. And what are we making here?
Just gonna make a simple cylinder to start.
Okay.
And we'll just make what we can.
Does that look all right?
That's looking pretty good.
All right. Wow, I'm making pottery.
Yeah. So once you have it centered, you're gonna do what's called dropping the hole. So you're gonna take the middle finger, brace it with your index finger, and drop that down into the middle of the clay. So you have a nice opening in there.
Okay. Oh yeah. It's a little wobbly.
Yeah.
But
So you want to be still.
Oh.
The clay's going to wobble. If you're still, then the clay will follow into place.
Okay. Stop wobbling. It's getting bigger.
Yeah. So you're going to open it up.
All right. Maybe some water. Hey, I'm making a bowl.
Here, I can
Whoa.
see if I can work this back into place for you.
Thank you.
It's a little bit better there.
It's a little warped. Oh, I like it.
Got a little wobble to it.
I'm pretty good at this, huh?
Yeah, you are. You're doing great. And asymmetry is nice.
Yeah,
So,
it makes it look homemade.
Absolutely.
Crafted. Okay.
So once you have it open, then you're going to pull on it. You have one hand inside, one hand outside.
Okay.
And lift it up to thin out the walls.
All right. Oh, whoa.
Or just make it into a plate. That's fine.
All right. All right. Well, James, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. I'm going to get back to work here, see if I can revive this thing.
All right.
Next on CityStream, this is what happens when you take a bunch of recyclables and add a dash of ingenuity.
It's starting to look like a real car now. Got our turn signals, we got our headlight.
Bao nhiêu pháo à? Ít pháo không có công.
A large. Grandma have a large. Yeah.
CityStream returns from Pottery Northwest. Let's check in with Lynn to see how things are going. So Lynn, where are you now in the process?
I'm just finishing up the cup that I was throwing earlier and giving it its final shape.
And then?
And then I'll let it stiffen up a little and add some facial features to it.
Excellent. Okay, we'll check back again soon. For thousands of years, artists have used clay to create works of art, stoneware and pottery. But there's a new trend emerging now in the world of art, recyclables. Last year, 40 artists submitted entries to the Recycled Arts Festival, and this year, that number has nearly doubled. Organizers acknowledge they're onto something big.
It's opening night of the second annual Recycled Arts Festival, and the Finney Neighborhood Center is bustling with activity.
This is the last minute shuffle around before the show opening.
Kelly, nice to meet you.
I have to run downstairs and deal with the art cars and make sure we got room for everybody. Get the right side out. The purpose of the show is mostly to encourage and bring together artists that do recycled materials and provide a venue for those artists that are the outside artists who can't get into the normal galleries. 75% of your piece has to be recycled, repurposed, or reused items.
No problem for Arndt, who has worked with recycled materials for years and is making what he calls a Fred Flintstone car.
It's starting to look like a real car now. Got our turn signals, we got our headlight. This is a reamer. These are differential gears. The main body is a wide flange beam, or I-beam. Then we have the rotors down below.
If you want to do a dingle ball kind of thing where it's hanging down, you could do something like that.
My wife and team player is Debbie Palmer. Debbie being an artist, it's been great because we bounce a lot of ideas off from each other.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
Sometimes I just come out here and I was just like, I want to make something. And first thing I see is just like, I know what I'm going to do with that. I'm going to make such and such. It's all driven by the piece that I find. Last year, one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to throw in a fashion show.
I'm Kim McCormick of Kimmy Designs.
And I reached out to Kim McCormick and asked her if she'd be willing to coordinate that for me.
Kim said yes, and not only curated the show, she also created 3 dresses for the event.
I make clothing out of recycled textiles because they are different and one of a kind, and also, first and foremost, reusing what we already have instead of creating more waste, because the textile environment is a huge polluter. My favorite fabrics to sew with are lace. That's my first. Then I love chenilles. I just love the textural quality and the colors they come in. And then after that, sweater knits. Oh, and tablecloths. Love tablecloths. Lace tablecloths, embroidery tablecloths.
Great.
There's 6 different designers, and so each designer has 1 to 3 pieces that they're showing tonight.
One of the best parts about the festival this year was the huge attendance that we got for the fashion show. We had like 300 people show up for the first session. It was standing room only. It was incredible. Upstairs we had the juried art show, and that's where we had the 70 different artists showcase their pieces.
This year I had 3 pieces in the show, 2 of my tin plaques, and my assemblage piece.
And this, you put a coin in, and it comes out down here.
I love your brain. I love what it takes to come up with all of this.
That's the kind of stuff that happens here, is the networking. Different artists meeting each other and finding out how they get their pieces together, where they find their parts.
I'm a thrift store junkie.
Wanting to go see each other's studios. That's the biggest part about the show, is connecting people. So this year we added so many different new components to make it a true festival. And one of those parts was adding the art cars. These are our People's Choice winners for the outdoor sculptures. It's Chelsea and Donovan. This year was a huge success. I was definitely delighted by how everything came together. It was a true festival, and that's what the goal was, is to make it a festival.
More than 1,000 people attended this year's festival, and Michael Arndt says he already has big plans for next year's party. So I've been watching Anuta create this very whimsical piece of art. Tell me about this.
That's a little porcelain plate, and I'm using it as a canvas and painting a pink horse on it.
So does it get a name?
Probably a pink horse.
Thank you, it's lovely.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. That wraps up this episode of CityStream from Pottery Northwest. But before we go, let's check in one more time with our artist in residence, Lynn. Let's see it.
All right, here it is. All done.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, and what happens next?
It'll get glaze put on it and then go into the kiln, and it'll come out looking something like this.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's really fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about the programs here, just go to potterynorthwest.org. I'm Linda Byron. Thanks for watching. To learn more about CityStream and the Seattle Channel, find us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also watch us on our Comcast HD channel 321 and on Wave Cable channel 721.